today we're going to be taking a look at PlayStation's new Pulse Elite headphones. And I'm going to try them out. This is Sony's Pulse Elite headphones, and during that intro I absolutely just smashed myself in the head of a box and it hurts a lot. And I... Ow. Ow. That hurts so bad. It still hurts. But we're going to review them once I sort of get my bearings again. I'm going to tell you my thoughts about them. Are Sony's new Pulse Elite headphones great, or are they just a glorified Star Wars Rebellion-shaped nightmare? Let's take a look. Genuinely, my ear is like killing me. It really freaking hurts. Why did I do that? So late last year, Sony introduced some new products into their lineup. One of them was this absolute beauty, the PlayStation Portal. And along with that, they announced two sets of headphones. They announced some PlayStation earbuds, which came out towards the end of last year. I didn't really get on that well with in-earbuds. I'm not a big fan of them, so I didn't get those. But I was quite keen to test out these. These are the Pulse Elites. And they're sort of a slightly more premium version of their Pulse 3D headphones that they released a few years back. Now, I actually did have a pair of Pulse 3Ds, and it would have been absolutely fantastic for me to use them side by side to compare them in this video, but I got rid of them because I wasn't massively impressed. And actually, I got some other headphones. I've tried other gaming headphones for my PS5, and I decided to keep those ones instead because I can't keep every single thing forever. But these came out, and I thought, could these be good enough? Could they be good enough to replace my Sony InZone H7s that I'm currently using? Or am I going to get these and am I just going to sort of pass them on because they're not very good? So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at some of the features, the bonus things, the things that these do that are new. We're going to look at sound quality, we're going to look at mic quality, and hopefully I'm going to help you guys make an informed decision as to whether you want to get these or whether you should get something else. So let's start off with pricing as of recording, so they can change, but mainly I just want to sort of see where these fit in the landscape of all the other sort of headphones that are out there at the moment, and in particular the headphones that I use. So to put them in the current market, in the UK where I am, these are 129 Great British pounds and 99 pence, so they're 130 quid, and I feel like that's sort of fairly reasonably priced. So we can compare them to the Pulse 3Ds, which are the step down from these ones. They were originally £90 and they're now £74.95. Another pair of headphones I have that you can see up there somewhere are the SteelSeries Arctis Nova 7P. Those are about £170, and the InZone H7s, which I have sort of down a little bit further at the back of the bottom down there, they are £190. So these are actually cheaper than both of those, and they're more expensive than the Pulse 3Ds. So these should be slightly worse than the other two, but definitely better than them. I'm going to save you a little bit of time, because, yeah, that's pretty accurate, honestly. However, they do have more features. And do those features actually make these better? Well, no. But do they make it more value? Oh, let's have a look. So we'll start off with what those features are. Now, these are Sony's new PlayStation Link compatible headphones, which means they use a slightly different protocol to the way that other things work with the PlayStation 5. However, they do still need a dongle, and because they still need a dongle, it works pretty much the same as all the other headphones I have. Now, they are slightly better than the Pulse 3Ds in the sense that they also support Bluetooth, which is quite big, which means that you can use these for any device. You don't need to have the dongle, except with your PS5. The Pulse 3Ds, because they don't have Bluetooth, they only use that USB dongle, and if you don't have the USB dongle, you can't use them. These do have an auxiliary port, and I think the Pulse 3Ds also do have an auxiliary port. Now, having the auxiliary port does make them usable with other devices. For example, I used this with the auxiliary port and my Quest 3, which means I was able to play in VR with these, and this fit quite nicely over the top of that as well, which is good. Now, I wouldn't use the Bluetooth mode with the Quest 3 because as soon as you introduce Bluetooth, there's a lot more latency and delay than you get with a wired connection or with the sort of PS Link or Wi-Fi or however they do the dongle thing. Now, the setup is pretty simple. You just have to plug this in, switch them on, make sure they're connecting to your dongle, and you get set up. There's a setup on the PlayStation 5, and I advise doing that first. I did that backwards, so I set these up with Bluetooth first, and then I kept having loads of issues trying to connect them to my PS5, when actually ultimately I should have just done that first. I ended up having to sort of work out a way of factory resetting them and then starting again, which was a little bit backwards and a bit annoying, and I advise you don't do that. So just set them up with your PlayStation before you do anything else. Now, one beauty with these things is that they have the PlayStation Link, and the PlayStation Link works very nicely with your PlayStation Portal. Now, if you want to connect any other headphones directly to this, you can't. You need to either have one in with the wired connection underneath, or you need to use PlayStation Link. There's only two sets of headphones that use PlayStation Link, and that's these ones and the little Pulse earbud things. Once you're on here, essentially what you need to do is you sort of PS Link headset, so you tap that, and then you make sure these are turned on. Once you have them set up, you have to do like a pairing process, which it describes here. You just press the little link button, like so, and I'm connected. Look at that. So it's fairly simple and easy to use, and I can disconnect from there, and it connects to my PS5. The connectivity side of these is very, very good. Range-wise, I actually can use these anywhere in my house, connected to my PS5. The range is very good. My house isn't massive. I'm not going to be wearing these outside my house and going for a walk with them, trying to connect to my PS5. The range is perfectly adequate. You're not going to be far enough for these to not connect. Now let's have a little look at sort of the design and the build quality. These are fairly sort of flexible. They're a bit rattly. And you've probably been hearing that as I've been moving them around and talking, you've been hearing them rattle a lot. They are quite rattly because the sort of cups are sort of loose on these things and they whack into the sides there. So build quality is okay. I like the little strap they got. It's very similar to the sort of Pulse 3Ds. That's all very, very similar. The ear cups are really nice. I like the sort of shape of them and the feel of them. They're quite comfortable, and it is a fairly comfortable headset to wear. It's very lightweight, and you don't really sort of notice it, and this is quite a wide band, so it doesn't put too much pressure on your head. However, when you do wear them, I feel like the shape of them is just a bit weird. I'm not overly keen on the shape. I feel like I'm wearing one of those sort of Star Wars Rebel helmet things. Yeah, that one. I'm not massively keen on how they look when they wear them. I feel like they look much nicer like that. And as soon as you sort of pull them apart and you realise how sort of weirdly triangular they are, yeah, I'm not overly keen. However, one good thing is that they've sort of taken something which you get on the SteelSeries Arctis Nova 7P. So on that SteelSeries set of headphones, you have something very similar, where you have this little microphone that sort of slides out. So design-wise, you can probably see that one of these little line things there is longer than the other one, and that's the microphone one. So it's already closer to your mouth slightly, but it's still quite far away. But when you just sort of pull on that, you can pull that out. You do also get like a little mute button on the bottom of that as well, which means you can very easily just quickly mute yourself, and it's in a very logical place. Because a lot of the time the mute button is somewhere hidden up here and it's hard, you have to sort of find it. The fact that they just put the mute button completely separate away from all of the other buttons just makes it much easier to quickly be able to mute your microphone if you need to.
This is a microphone test with the microphone extended out towards my mouth. This is a microphone test of the Pulse Elites with the microphone rescinded back into the headset. This is an audio mic test with music playing in the background.
There are volume buttons on there, a USB-C port for charging, an auxiliary port, and then the sort of power and link button, which is shared on the end of that side. Other than that, there's no other buttons. There's no sort of independent gain chat volume mix. There's no sort of side tone volume mix. So you do lose some of those things that you get on some of the more expensive headphones. Now, in addition to the USB-C ports, you can actually charge these another way. And you might notice just under the headband there's a very what should be similar looking port just under there, you can see, and that is a very similar port because that is very similar to this one that you get on the bottom of your PS5 controller. Now, I can't mount this on my PS5 controlling stand, but in the box, can you believe this? You don't have to buy a separate accessory. In the box, you get this little mount. You might be able to see it. I've actually attached it to my wall. Oh, can't get this is stiff. Over here. And you can plug a wire into that mount, and then all you need to do is hang these onto there, and then they start charging. Look at that. Boom, charging light's coming on. Now that charging sounds pretty cool, and actually because it's got the same port as you have on your controller, you can actually put your controller on that little mount as well. And it's new that is included. You have to screw a hole into your wall in order to install it, and you do get left with this permanent wire dangling down, which I don't think looks fantastic. But it's nice to have a little wall mounting solution. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I actually quite like being able to just reach over and grab my headphones because they're by my desk. So it's a good option, and you don't have to use it if you don't want to. But it's nice that they included something in the box. It's nice that I can sort of, if I have playing PS5 at a desk, I can have it attached to the wall next to my desk, or I can have it attached to the desk if I wanted to do that way. I like it. It's pretty cool. Now, in terms of feature-wise, that's pretty much it. Now, a couple of things that I think are quite important. One is sound quality. Now, the sound quality is definitely better than the Pulse 3Ds. I felt like there was absolutely no bass, and it just sort of, everything felt very tinny. The sound quality on these, they're better. It is better. I mean, they sort of amp them up by being saying they've got special things inside to make them sound really good, and they do sound a lot better, but I still feel like it's just lacking something. It just, everything feels like when someone's talking, it doesn't feel like you're hearing someone talk in front of you. It feels like you're hearing someone talk on a very good mobile phone. It's not fantastic. It's not fantastic quality. I think that's where these definitely fall short from those other headphones I was talking about. Is that the sound quality on those Sony InZone H7s is just far superior, which bothers me a little bit because they're both technically made by Sony. I don't know, someone enlighten me in the comments below, because I don't know why they don't just use the same technology to make them sound as good as. But they're cheaper headphones, so that's probably why. Now, there are ways that you can change the EQ on the PlayStation, so you can go in and sort of adjust it, which is what I did. There's a few presets. The one I think is probably works best for it is the bass boost one. It just amps up the low end because it is a little bit tinny by default. But even then, it doesn't make the sound perfect. I was quite disappointed with the sound quality. Now, the question is that do you get these? Do you get the Pulse 3Ds? Do you upgrade to get something slightly better? And I think it's a tricky one. I think for the price tag, actually, these are fantastic headphones, and they're probably the best you can get in that sort of area. That sort of £130, I'm not entirely sure what it is in dollars. For this sort of price tag, these are actually, value-wise, probably the best. You can have them connected to Bluetooth and listen to things on your phone whilst also playing games. So you can connect to things like Discord and stuff like that and have something separate coming into your headphones, or watch a video or listen to music whilst also having your game playing with your game audio also coming through. And that's really, really cool. I really like that. They are one of the only sets of headphones that connect wirelessly to this. So if you have one of these and that's what you're after, that's your only option. So there we go. Now, personally for me, do I keep these? Do I keep my more expensive, slightly better sounding, slightly more functional in terms of having multiple audio controls on the InZone H7s? Or do I use these ones where I've got a cool little stand, I can put them on next to my desk, I've got access to PlayStation Link so I can connect them very easily to the PlayStation Portal? I don't know yet. honestly I don't know yet. It depends on how much I use them. So if I find that I'm using them all the time because I want to play this, which I do play this fairly regularly, then those will probably be the ones that I end up keeping. Or do I find I want to use the InZones because they just sound better and they're probably slightly more comfortable, I would say, then maybe I'll use those. Maybe I'll do an update video. But that is the Pulse Elites. They're actually a very good, slightly better than entry-level set of gaming headphones for your PS5. Do you have any particular questions about them? Stick them in the comments below. Now, guys, I'm going to go get an ice pack to put on my ear. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Whoop!